Oh, Nate, reel that in as quick as you can. Big fish. Right there.
Oh yeah, they're behind us, yeah. There it is.
Got that guy.
That's a big bellied fish.
Hey folks, Captain Mike here from Salty Cape, here off Nantucket, socked in the fog. Hopefully we can find the rips for some topwater striper fishing, for striped bass, fishing the rips. Then as always, Phil, we'd like to come home with some great tasting ground fish to finish the day. But Phil, real quick, in one sentence, what's the game plan?
We're gonna stem the tide, Mike.
Stem the tide, topwater plugs. Hopefully there's stripers still chasing some squid out here. 4th of July weekend's coming up. The one advantage of the fog is we have great radar. It's going to be fewer boats on the rips. It'll be a little less crowded and hopefully super hot action.
So the approach today is we're stemming the tide. These guys are casting into the rips. I'm using both motors, basically crab walk myself down the rip while keeping the stern into the rip. How we're able to do that is on a boat of this size at 11/8-foot beam, you put one set of motors in gear on the starboard side and it's going to push you toward the port. And conversely on the other side if it went port towards starboard. So right now I'm just watching what these guys are throwing into the rip. Whoop, there we go. Fish on. I can see the rip and the fish coming up because we're right on that edge. And being able to crab walk the boat sideways along the rip line, we're able to keep these guys in fish the entire time.
So, oh, look right here. Got that guy. Decent fish. So I'm watching my line here. This fish took this. We might need to take the boat out of gear to drift back on this fish. It's gotten its head down current. We got a lot of engine behind us here, so I'm just gonna see if I can determine which side of the boat the fish wants to be landed on. Now that we're out of gear, we're drifting back with the fish, so it's a little easy right now. And so this is where you want to make sure you don't get slack in the line. And this fish just inhaled the plug, came up from behind, just engulfed it. A really great eat. We're doing great. He's going to come on the port side, I think. Now, there's a few fish lined up in this rip. There's some real toads, and then there was some smaller guys, and a few in between, so it's hard to gauge how big these are when you're in this much current. These fish get a lot of leverage with the current. If the head gets pointed down tide, I'll just take it. So what you do is just take the boat out of gear. Big shoulders on it. So another plus to the single hook is the lure becomes a little bit of a handle. I can grab that fish. Oh look, he's eating squid. I want to get hooked. Now, this is why we're using the amber color. A dead squid's white, but they're amber when they're alive. But look also where you have this flag. This presents sort of a bad opportunity, if you will, to gill hook this fish. So this plug's coming in, it's lined up, you get hooked by the eye and the gill. just with that single flag in the back. Pretty much always, not every time, but pretty much. Gonna hook the fish in the upper lip. Pops right out with pliers. Now we're ready for a safe release. Lure.
Say it again?
Still have your lure?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they're behind.
This
Yeah.
one's flowing, this one's flowing. Got it.
There he is.
Nice.
There he is.
Nice.
Dog Walker XL, getting it done. Yeah, so when I'm approaching these rips over here, right when it becomes slack, I like to work that Dog Walker, especially the XL, all the way almost in line with where the rip meets the slack water. I mean, this thing will call up fish from all over. The second they show up, it's tough for these fish to resist, especially the amber. Not a bad fish there at all. Took the Dog Walker XL. As you can see, Captain Mike earlier swapped that last treble for that flag. And that's perfect for this recreational sport fishing. Keeps the fish safe. I mean, it's gonna be a quick release. Look how fast that was.
Super greasy conditions today, which to me is the perfect situation to throw a dog walker like we've been doing today. Now, what I like about the dog walker is you can create a lot of commotion while still having plenty of hang time. So that walk the dog motion, hence the name dog walker. What you're gonna do is cast the lure out. Get quick control of the line. And so while I'm working the rod, I'm popping the tip, and it's really, you'll notice it's a really slow retrieve on the handle. On the far end of the cast, I had the tip up. As the lure gets closer, the angle's gonna change. So I'm gonna start to lower the tip of the rod steadily as the lure comes in, because the angle's gonna change. And so as the lure gets closer to the rip, I'm lowering the tip of the rod. Now I might pause as I get close to the rip if I brought it in a little too close. I want that lure to swing right into the rip. And so what I'm trying to do is simulate a fleeing squid getting chased by a striper. And so other stripers, I'm hoping, will see that, get that fear of missing out reaction, and trigger that reaction strike. So let's try that one more time. I'm gonna cast up tide in the smooth water as Phil keeps this boat stemmed against the tide. And you get control of the line. On the far end of the cast, I'm gonna have my tip up. So I'm walking that dog. These short twitching motions while I'm reeling slowly are causing that dog to zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Now as I get closer, again, the angle changes, so I'm lowering the tip periodically. Now as I get close to the rip, I might pause just to let that lure swing in. Now this is where my tip goes below the belt, and now I'm just pointing toward the water and twitching that bait. Now if I'm at the rip's edge, what I might do is pause the retrieve for a minute and just twitch the rod to dance that lure right in front of the crest. So we've done a full swing. Now we're directly behind the boat. The dog walker is just walking right in front of the rip. Twitch, 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 pause. There we go. Now at this point, you can keep the lure walking in front of the rip. Now, you will get hits doing this, but I find the best hits come during the swing. But you know, at this point, if you think there's fish in the zone, you can hang it for a little bit. But for me, once I get to this point, I'm gonna bring it back in and start again. There's just so much water here. There's just so much moving water here in Nantucket. These fish just get down current. They're decent sized slot fish, or a little over. These fish just fight above their weight class in these strong currents. They're also big fish. You can tell these fish have been eating well all season. You know, very full-bodied fish, pretty thick, solid fish. So, you know, it's better just to take the boat out of gear and tiptoe back into the rip when you need to. But these are decent-sized fish. Just want to land them as quickly as possible. It's a little bigger, I think. I'm just loving this dog walker today. Perfect size to match the hatch with the squid. Look how chunky these guys are. See, look at this hook setup. If there was a hook on the back of this plug on this big fish, that could have been a terminal situation for that fish. Look back down there. So we had no problem hooking this fish. In fact, using a fair amount of finger strength to pop this hook out. I should probably be doing it with pliers. So now I'm dehooked, ready to release the fish. So the other thing I like to do, in addition to dehooking my fish with just the single hook, this fish seems a little tired. Of course, we were dealing with it for the camera. So I'm just going to take a minute to swim it. You'll notice that this fish is clamping down on my thumb. Sort of a good sign that it's responding to the swimming. And when it's strong enough, it sort of takes off and swims away. It's a proper way to release a big striped bass. So this guy came in on the XL dog walker. Now, I'm gonna say this guy's a little bigger, but in these strong currents, I feel like the advantage to the bigger gear is the ability to land the fish quicker. See this real strong, these like eddies in the current here? These fish get a lot of leverage in this tide. So this is a bigger fish, but not why we switched over to the heavier gear. The tide is just ripping through here. I have the Foggy 7-foot hybrid inshore offshore spinning rod. The main advantage is we can land these fish faster this way, which is a healthier release. Speaking of which, I want to get this fish back in the water. Well, you notice that I'm not holding the fish by the lips. I'm supporting its weight across my knees. I have wet knees, so no dry contact. I'm gonna get this fish back in the water. Hey, can you pass me the pliers? I'm gonna get this fish back in the water as quickly as possible for a healthy release. That's really trippy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So gear talk. So the outfit I use predominantly today is this one. This is the Foggy system inshore, pretty much my standard issue inshore rod, the 7-foot medium heavy outfit paired with the Foggy classic dog walker. Now this is a perfect plug for the situation. We have greasy calm conditions. Stripers are keyed in on squid, which is why I have this amber plug on. Now, you'll notice that I have a squid here that a striper coughed up side by side with the classic dog walker. This is pretty much a perfect size, shape, and eventually color match. Now, the reason why I mentioned that with the asterisk is squid are a beautiful natural translucent color when they're alive and well in the water, not coughed up by a striper. But you can see that just a perfect profile. Now with this flag on the tail end of the hook, you can see right down to the final tentacles on the squid. It's just a perfect size and profile. Now the 7-foot medium heavy was perfect for this. It's rated for 1 to 2 ounces. Classic dog walker is 1.75 ounces, and it was just a perfect pairing. But we're in the rips off Nantucket here, and the tide is very strong. And what I try to do, or what I like to do, is avoid drifting through and going to the rip too much to spook the fish. So during the peak stages of the tide, I upsize to the Foggy hybrid 7-foot outfit. And by hybrid, we mean it's inshore and offshore. It's a heavy duty rod. You catch tuna on this, also big stripers. It's built for throwing big plugs or big swim baits. And so when the tide really got honking, we upsized to this outfit. And in this case, it's the Foggy XL dog walker. It's 3.5 ounces and just it's about 8 inches. Very large plug, heavy outfit. I have a Van Staal VS 200 reel on this. And during the peak strong stages of the tide, we switched to this so we could land the fish quickly, release the fish quickly. It's better for the fish. It's better not to drift through the rip a bunch of times if you don't have to. But on either side of the peak current velocity, the 7-foot medium heavy outfit was just perfect. And this is paired with a 4,000 class reel. In both cases, these are big fish, aggressive fish. We were using 25-pound test fluoro as a leader. And pretty much these are the two outfits, the same two lures we used the entire shoot. And it was just a fantastic morning. Foggy, squiddy, classic New England striper in the rip situation. So the tide has officially died out and we're gonna switch to catching dinner. The better fish to eat, which in my opinion is either sea bass or fluke. So we've been looking at great marks in the fish finder all morning long, seeing some good ones right now. So we're gonna send it down and bring home dinner. That feels like a decent fish. And it is a fluke. Now, size limit is 17.5 inches. I don't think this guy's gonna make it. We're getting close, but I don't think it's quite the cigar. So I'm gonna release this fish quick and hopefully upgrade. There we go.
Do you want a GoPro?
Nope, I don't want to GoPro. I'll just catch a bigger one without bait. It's a big keeper fluke, folks. And a squid. Look, he's got a squid in his mouth. Phil, look at the squid. Look at I got a twofer.
Now we got bait.
Dude, look, I got a twofer. All right, how big is he? I got my tape. That was nice. Slack tide, folks, making lemonade with lemons. Fog changed their plans. We got to Nantucket. Tide ain't happening, so we're just drifting deeper water. Caught this fluke that had just eaten a squid that just never caught bait on a bait rig before. That's kind of new, kind of cool. We're gonna measure this guy. 17.5 in 2025. This guy's close. I'm doubting he's a keeper, but that's 17.5, right?
17.5.
Nice. Fluke for dinner.
Keeper fluke.
Told you, you don't need bait with these things.